Tina and Angel were more like sisters than friends. They grew up together, went to the same schools, and even graduated the same year. Angel studied pharmacy, while Tina studied banking and finance. After their NYSC, Angel got a good job at a hospital. But Tina wasn't so lucky. She couldn't find a job no matter how hard she tried. She kept applying everywhere, but every reply was the same. Sleepless nights filled her days as she regretted every step she took and wished she had never gone to school. Angel tried to help during Tina's hard times. She knew how hard it was for Tina to keep going without a job. Sometimes, she would take her shopping, pay for lunch, or send her some money just to make sure she didn't lack anything. Angel often reminded her to stay hopeful, saying things would get better soon. But deep down, Tina was tired of waiting and watching others move forward while her life stood still. Years passed, yet Tina still couldn't find a job. The constant rejection drained her, and the thought of depending on Angel made her feel worse. One day, after another failed interview, she decided to stop waiting for a miracle. So she accepted a job as a cleaner in a hotel. While working there, she began to rebuild her confidence. The pay wasn't much, but it helped her take care of her basic needs. She started buying herself nice clothes, fixing her hair, and paying her bills on time. Before long, she looked more put together and attractive. Men who came to the hotel often wanted to talk to Tina. Some started as friends, they'd buy her gifts, give her money, and act caring at first. But in the end, they all wanted the same thing. Tina refused them all, determined not to lose her self-respect. One sunny afternoon, while she was cleaning the hotel lobby, a young, handsome man walked in. His presence drew everyone's attention. He was tall, neatly dressed in a well-tailored suit, and smelled of expensive perfume. He looked rich and confident, the kind of man who was used to getting what he wanted. He stopped in front of Tina and smiled. "Hello, young lady. How are you?" he asked in a warm, charming tone. "Hello, young lady. How are you?" he asked in a warm, charming tone. Tina froze for a moment, caught off guard by his presence. She stared at him, surprised, then managed a shy smile. "You seem like someone who takes her work seriously," he nodded. "That's good. Hard work always pays off." Tina couldn't find her voice. She just kept looking at him, lost in admiration. The man chuckled softly and walked away, still smiling. That day, Tina wasn't herself. Even when she got home, she couldn't stop talking about the young man she met at work. She told Angel everything, how polite he was, how kind his words sounded, and how he left her thinking all day. The next morning, Tina and Angel were supposed to go out together so Angel could drop Tina off at work. But to Tina's surprise, Angel told her that her newfound love would be picking her up instead and asked Tina to drive herself to work. Tina didn't mind. She simply smiled and followed Angel to the gate to meet her boyfriend. But the moment she saw him, her heart dropped. Angel's boyfriend was the same young man who had approached her at the hotel. Tina tried hard to hide her shock. She never told Angel that Jason was the man she couldn't stop thinking about. She forced a smile, pretending to be happy for her friend. But deep down, jealousy and pain ate at her, and she couldn't help wondering why life always seemed to favor Angel. Even after finding out that Angel was dating Jason, Tina couldn't let go of her feelings for him. Out of curiosity, she did some research about Jason and discovered he came from a wealthy family. Jason's father was a billionaire who owned several companies across different states. His mother had died years earlier in a plane crash, and the tragedy had left a mark on the family. When Tina knew about all this, she became more angry and jealous. She started thinking of ways to destroy her best friend's relationship, but no plan seemed good enough. As time went on, Tina got herself a boyfriend, a man she pretended to love. In truth, she didn't want a relationship with anyone. She only accepted him so that Angel wouldn't notice she had feelings for Jason. 2 years later, Jason proposed to Angel, and their wedding was set to take place in 4 months. Tina acted genuinely happy for her friend. She even joined Angel in planning the wedding, hiding her jealousy behind a bright smile. But deep down, Tina was restless and in pain. She had many sleepless nights, secretly wishing something bad would happen to Angel, even imagining her getting into an accident and never coming back alive. One day, Tina suddenly resigned from her job. When people asked why, she simply said the pay was too small for her. Angel wasn't happy about her decision because that job was all Tina had, but Tina made it clear that it wasn't Angel's place to tell her what to do. Not long after, Tina applied for a job at one of Jason's father's companies. To her surprise, she got the job. She was overjoyed, hoping this would finally bring her closer to what she wanted. Angel, unaware of Tina's real intentions, was also happy that her friend finally found a good job. Tina worked as an accountant and quickly earned a good reputation. She became hardworking and respectful, and soon, her colleagues began to like her. But behind that calm smile, Tina was thinking of ways to win Jason's heart. She often visited his office, starting small, unnecessary conversations just to get his attention. But no matter how hard she tried, Jason never seemed moved. He treated her politely as friends, nothing more. Tina began cooking delicious meals to take to work every day. She always made sure Jason got the biggest portion, hoping he would finally notice her. But what frustrated her most was that Jason never accepted her food. He would smile politely and say he wasn't hungry or already had lunch. One afternoon, while Tina was in Jason's office chatting as usual, he looked up from his desk and asked, "Tina, why are you always hanging around me at work?" The question caught her off guard, but she quickly forced a smile. "Nothing, Jason. We are just friends, right?" she said jokingly. Jason nodded with a smile. "I know, but you should be careful. You can actually get fired for this kind of thing." "You're right, my friend," Tina replied, pretending to laugh. She walked out of his office smiling on the outside but burning with shame inside. She wished the ground would open and swallow her. None of her plans were working, and no matter what she did, Jason didn't seem to notice her feelings. Still, she refused to give up. She became more determined to destroy her best friend's marriage, even if it meant losing herself in the process. Frustrated and tired, Tina eventually broke up with her boyfriend. When people asked what happened between her and Justin, she would simply say they weren't compatible. One day, during a company conference, Jason's father's best friend attended the meeting. After the session ended, he approached Tina with a friendly smile and complimented her confidence during her presentation. He later offered to take her out for dinner, and she accepted without hesitation. That evening, they met at a luxurious restaurant. The lights were dim, soft music played in the background, and Tina looked stunning in a simple red gown. As they ate, Mr. George leaned closer and spoke quietly. "I'm married," he confessed, "but I'd like to have something special with you. I can take care of your bills, give you whatever you need, and make your life easier. But we are not getting married." Tina sat back and thought deeply. At first, she shook her head. "No, I can't do that," she said softly. But after a moment, a wicked idea crossed her mind. "I'll only agree," she continued, "on one condition." Curious, Mr. George asked, "What's that?" Tina smiled faintly. "If you want me, you must sleep with my best friend, and she must not know who it is." "It has to be in the dark," she requested. Mr. George was taken aback, but his desire made him reckless. He stared at her for a while, then nodded. "Whatever you wish for me to be with you, consider it done," he said with a smile. Tina smiled, satisfied. For the first time, she felt like she finally had a plan to ruin Angel's perfect life. That night, she returned home with joy overflowing in her heart. She hummed songs while preparing dinner, laughed more than usual, and looked happier than she had in years. Angel noticed the sudden change and was surprised. "Tina, you're glowing today. What's going on?" Angel asked, smiling. "Nothing really," Tina replied cheerfully. "I just feel happy." A few days later, Tina came up with an idea, a short vacation trip for both of them. She told Angel that they needed time away from work stress and wedding plans. Angel loved the idea and agreed to go. They traveled to a beautiful resort with a beach view. Everything seemed perfect: laughter, good food, and late-night talks. But Tina had a secret plan already set in motion with Mr. George. On the second night of the trip, while they relaxed in their hotel room, Tina mixed alcohol into Angel's drink, pretending it was a fruit cocktail. Angel drank it happily, laughing and talking until her voice began to slur. Within minutes, she became dizzy and unaware of her surroundings. Tina quietly helped Angel to a different room, where Mr. George is. Everything happened as planned. Angel, drunk and defenseless, had no idea what was being done to her by Mr. George. The next morning, Angel slowly opened her eyes and realized she wasn't in her room. She sat up and gasped when she saw herself naked under the sheets. Her clothes were scattered on the floor. Confusion and fear gripped her as she tried to remember what had happened, but her mind was blank. Her hands trembled as tears rolled down her face. "What happened to me?" she whispered, looking around helplessly, her heart pounding. Angel quickly got dressed and went in search of her room. When she opened the door, she found Tina pacing around, pretending to be worried. "I was so scared looking for you, Angel. Where have you been?" Tina asked, acting surprised. Angel stood quietly for a moment, her face pale and her hands shaking. She couldn't find the words to explain what she had just experienced. Her mind was filled with confusion. She couldn't remember how she ended up in that strange room or who had touched her. "Tina," she finally whispered, her voice trembling, "do you have any idea how I left the room last night?" Tina shook her head quickly. "No, I don't. I went out to get some drinks, and when I came back, you weren't in the room anymore," she lied smoothly. "But Tina, why didn't you take me with you?" Angel asked, her eyes filled with tears. "I got so drunk and I think I made a terrible mistake," she cried. "I just pray it doesn't cost me my relationship." Tina gasped and moved closer, pretending to be shocked. "Angel, why would you say that? What happened? Where did you go last night?" she asked with fake concern. Through her sobs, Angel explained how she got drunk and woke up alone, naked in another room. "I'm ashamed and scared and I don't know what will happen if Jason might find out," she cried bitterly. Tina hugged her, pretending to comfort her. "Don't cry," she said softly. "No one will ever hear about this, I promise. It was my fault. I should have taken better care of you. I'm so sorry, Angel." But deep inside, Tina was overjoyed. Her plan had worked perfectly, and though she wore a mask of sympathy, she was secretly celebrating her. After the vacation, Angel and Tina resumed work. They laughed together during lunch breaks, shared makeup tips, and acted like best friends. 2 days after the vacation, something unexpected happened to Angel. That evening, as she returned from work, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Jason, her fiancé. Her heart fluttered until she opened the message and saw videos of the stranger and her making out. Her face was visible in the video but the stranger's own was covered. Her breath caught in her throat. The clips showed her, lying naked on a bed too, half conscious, with the stranger from the vacation. She screamed and dropped her phone, her knees hitting the floor. She called Jason severally to explain what had happened but he dropped a heartbroken message. "You disgust me, Angel. Don't ever call or text me again. We are done." Angel's world shattered instantly. Tears blurred her vision as she tried to call him, but Jason ignored every call. He blocked her on all platforms, leaving her broken and confused. She couldn't understand how the video even existed. Who recorded it? How did Jason get it? She wanted to run to Tina for comfort, but little did she know that the same person pretending to be her best friend was the reason her life was falling apart. Tina was filled with secret joy inside her, though she wore a mask of sorrow. She faked tears to look like a caring friend and even accompanied Angel to Jason's house to plead for forgiveness. But when they arrived, the security guards turned them away. Jason had given strict orders, neither of them should ever be allowed near him. Angel wept bitterly, kneeling outside the gate, while Tina stood silently, pretending to comfort her. Inside, she was satisfied. Her plan had worked better than she imagined. Weeks passed. Angel slowly recovered from the heartbreak, with the help of her family and colleagues. She resumed work, determined to rebuild her life. Meanwhile, Tina's ambition grew. Now that Angel was out of Jason's life, she saw an open door. She began showing up at Jason's office under different excuses, sometimes to deliver unnecessary files, other times to check on him. She dressed more boldly, wore heavier perfume, and flirted shamelessly. Now, Mr. George had fulfilled his promise of granting Tina her wish and giving her access to a luxurious lifestyle. But in return, he expected her to finally accept being her sugar daddy. Mr. George often sent Tina expensive perfumes, jewelry, and dinner invites, but Tina ignored them all. She wanted more. She doesn't want to be Mr. George's side chick. She still wanted Jason. When Tina refused again, Mr. George stormed into her office one afternoon, slamming the door behind him. "You think you're smart, don't you?" He barked, his face red with anger. "After all I've done for you, this is how you repay me. Tina, I'll make sure I destroy you, even if it costs me my life." Tina stood up from her chair, unshaken. "Mr. George, you can't do anything to me," she shot back boldly. "You think you can buy me with your promises of a luxurious lifestyle? You disgust me." Mr. George sneered. "Luxurious lifestyle? You're talking as if you're better than me. You sold your friend's dignity just to get close to her man. You think I don't know what you did? You claim you want a man who values you, yet you keep chasing those who don't even look at you twice. Now, tell me, how foolish can you be, Tina?" The words hit Tina like a slap. Her throat tightened, and her fingers trembled on the edge of the desk. She glared at him through misty eyes. "You're a stupid man," she hissed before storming out of the office and locked herself in the restroom, tears quietly streaming down her face. Tina, on the other hand, still didn't give up on Jason. She went ahead and seduced him in his office. But to her surprise, Jason fired her. "I don't ever want to see you here again. You're fired, and don't bother coming back." Tina's heart sank. She fell to her knees, pleading, but he called security to escort her out. That evening, she went home crying bitterly and told Angel she had been fired because of the video that had been sent to Jason. She even blamed Angel for her downfall. "If you hadn't gotten drunk, none of this would have happened. You ruined my job, my reputation, everything." Tina shouted through fake tears. Angel felt guilty and believed every word Tina said. Her voice trembled as she apologized. "It was my fault, Tina. I shouldn't have gotten drunk or slept with that stranger. I've caused you so much pain and disgrace." Her voice broke as she reached for Tina's hand, desperate for forgiveness. But Tina pulled away, her expression cold and distant. "Don't touch me. You've done enough," Tina snapped, before storming out, leaving Angel crumbling in guilt. Days turned into nights, and the silence between both friends grew heavier. Then, one morning, a shocking message arrived on Angel's phone, screenshots of a chat between Tina and Mr. George, the same man who had slept with her that night. The evidence was clear, Tina had planned everything. Angel's hands trembled as she read the messages. Tears streamed down her face. No, this can't be true," she whispered. Overcome by rage and betrayal, she she confronted Tina. "How could you do this to me?" Angel screamed, pushing Tina to the wall. "You were supposed to be my sister." Tina's face hardened. "Don't blame me for your stupidity, Angel. You always have everything you wanted and now you still got the man I was crushing on," she screamed at the top of her voice. "So, you foolishly let me get drunk and invited someone to sleep with me because of Jason." Angel's voice shook with anger. "And now videos of my nakedness are flying around. That means poisoning me wouldn't even be hard for you," Angel cried uncomfortably between screaming. But Tina was not feeling remorseful. "Okay, yes, I know I did it," she laughed. "I mean, who doesn't want a man like Jason in his life? Come on, darling, it's not a crime to share." Angel couldn't take it anymore. She slapped Tina across the face. Tina froze for a second, her eyes darkening with rage, her face filled with anger. For a few seconds, she just stared at Angel without saying a word. Then she grabbed a pencil from the table and hit Angel on the head. Angel fell to the floor. Blood came out slowly from her head, and the room went quiet. Tina realized what she had done. She panicked and dropped the pencil, trembling with fear. Before the neighbors arrived, Tina was gone. She ran away, leaving her things behind. The neighbors rushed in and found Angel lying in a pool of blood. They took her to the hospital immediately. Hours later, Angel slowly opened her eyes, weak and confused. Her head throbbed with pain as she tried to remember what had happened. When she regained consciousness, the doctor walked in with a serious expression and gently said, "Miss Angel, you're 2 months pregnant." Angel stared blankly, tears rolling down her cheeks. The pregnancy, a reminder of the worst night of her life, felt like a curse. Determined to find the truth, she traced the number that had sent her the screenshots and discovered that Mr. George was the stranger who had slept with her. Furious, Angel reported him to the police. Mr. George was arrested, tried, and sentenced to life imprisonment for assault and blackmail. But Angel couldn't find peace. The shame, the whispers, and the pregnancy ate her alive. She couldn't bear to face the world knowing she was carrying the child of a man who ruined her life. One night, unable to sleep, Angel made a tragic decision. She attempted to abort the pregnancy on her own. She took some pills and bled for days. In the end, she lost her life. When the news of Angel's death broke, the police began searching for Tina. Tina had been on the run since the fight. One afternoon, she was seen walking along a busy roadside. The policeman chased her down a highway. She ran blindly into the road and a speeding car hit her instantly. The impact was fatal. Tina died on the spot, the same way her lies and envy had destroyed everyone around her. Jealousy destroys faster than hate. Tina's envy made her lose everything, while Angel's kindness cost her life. Be happy for others, envy only leads to regret. The end.